Welcome back to another episode.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We got some new stuff to talk about today. And how have you been, Jenna?
I've been good. Prep is prepping. I'm still just cruising. Things are easy. Hunger's not out of control. Cardio's very manageable. Things are moving along.
And I feel like everything about the bodybuilding process is just a marathon and not a sprint. And just in keeping that endurance going.
Oh, yeah. It's slow and steady. I'm still dropping about 1 pound a week and just cruising.
Do you think that your progress is relative to the progress that we see on Instagram and social media?
No, I don't. What a great segue into today's topic. But
yes,
before we talk about Instagram versus reality, we have 3 little things to taste test today.
How could I forget?
Right? So the first thing we're going to taste test, we're going to taste test 2 clear proteins. And if you've never heard of clear protein before, protein shakes are typically like milkshakes, right? You know, chocolate, vanilla, cookie flavors, all kinds of things. There's fruity ones, but it's still like milkshake consistency. So some people, I don't know who these people are, but they don't like that. And they want a clear protein that is just a pure like fruit drink. So Rise has come out with their own variety. They have a bunch of different flavors, including Kool-Aid. And what else did I tell you? There was key lime pie. Not for me.
But I like the flavor, but
yeah. So these are 0 sugar. They're 100 calories, 22 grams of protein, 1 carb, and that's it. So shall we try it?
Yes, definitely. I'm surprised these have gotten more popular because I've seen clear protein drinks, like not milkshake type. I've seen those before, but now other brands are making them and see it on.
Now, I'm just having a tiny sip because being in prep, I do not actually, I don't ever want to drink my calories. I prefer to chew my food, but I gotta try it.
Cheers.
I don't think that's bad.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. I was expecting, I did admit, I have to admit, I had somebody had told me that they were very chalky. I don't find that to be chalky.
That's not chalky at all. And do we shake it?
I did shake it.
Yeah, so there's no like hidden chalk on the bottom or something.
I think it tastes just like like pineapple Jello.
Yeah, it really does. And it's also, it doesn't have like a second back flavor on the throat or something that's good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by this.
I'm surprised too. So hopefully Bucked Up will be just as good because this one I had higher hopes for. Again, because I had heard from someone else that drink wasn't good. It was good.
That was really good.
So Bucked Up has their own version. It is lightly carbonated. And we chose orange cream. Now this one has 25 grams of protein, still only 100 calories. And that's it. No carbs at all. So.
And there's not energy in these either.
Nope.
Oh, and interesting.
Is there in this one? No, I don't think so.
This one says contains milk.
Oh, because it's whey protein.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
It doesn't seem like whey.
I know.
So weird.
All right.
These are like sly because I bet you their goal is to get people to drink more protein or eat more protein, but it looks like an energy drink.
Yeah.
But like energy drinks, so maybe they'll drink it, get more protein in by accident.
Exactly.
Cheers. Do you like it?
I don't hate it.
I really like it.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I would probably need another sip, but I'm not gonna.
No, it is calories.
Yeah. I think I don't know. No, I do like it. It's just, I felt like the orange cream flavor like dissipated really fast. And then I wasn't quite sure if there was anything after that. I don't know. I'm kind of like doubting my first reaction.
Yeah.
I do think it's good.
It really tastes like even the Celsius, the big can, the creamsicle one, tastes pretty much just like that. But I think this flavor is a little bit more well-rounded.
Yeah, and I do like the carbonation level. It is light and refreshing.
It's
I think
really,
this would be really good in the summer.
yeah, they definitely would be really good in the summer because, you don't want to, if you don't want to be drinking or feel like you're drinking a milkshake or something because it's hot and, this is a really good alternative.
Yeah.
I would recommend that.
No, I would too. And yeah, that makes me want to try the other flavors as well.
No energy. Interesting.
Yeah.
I want it to be energy.
I think Rise and Bucked Up both did an excellent job.
That's a good breakfast from you this morning.
Right? Okay, so the last thing we're going to taste test is some chocolate from Oobly. Now, this is the first time I've had a brand send me anything for free.
This is so freaking
so
cool.
I feel like I've made it.
Yes, this is making it. Absolutely.
So Oobly was kind enough to reach out and send me a box of a sample pack, basically, of their minis. And they have Cocoa Dreams, Silky Smooth, Sweet and Salty, Crisp and Rice, Razzle Dazzle, Let's Go Nuts, Almond Toasty, and Almond Crunch. So I have worked in half of a square into my macros today. And Aurora's going to try those two flavors. Now, 2 pieces is actually a serving.
Okay.
So for those 2 full pieces, it's 140 calories, 13 grams of fat, 12 carbs, and 2 protein. So I'm just going to, since this is brand new to me, I don't really know. I mean, I've looked into this product a little bit, but I'm going to just read to you their description of what sets them apart, what makes them different. So it says, eat better chocolate. Meet the world's first protein sweetened chocolates with up to 80% less sugar, full of fiber, and 100% of the sweetness you love. From the West African oobly fruit, no idea if I'm saying that correctly, these sweet proteins are our tiny superheroes.
And will they give you a code if people want to order from them?
Sorry, that was my water bottle. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know if they're that. I don't know if they're big enough yet,
or
if I'm big enough yet, because like I have a code for Prime Bites, but that's like I think they're a much bigger company.
Yeah.
So
I think they are enveloped by other ones too.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna try Let's Go Nuts.
I'm gonna try Almond Toasty.
Ooh.
Pretty good size, like chocolate. Like.
So I'm gonna break mine in half. That is good. That is really good. I wouldn't know that there was anything different about these. Would you?
No. If you told me, I would be like, yeah, it tastes like, I feel like a little clean and earthy.
Right.
But no, you really can't tell.
Oh, and I forgot to mention this. 8 grams of fiber between those 2. So 4 grams of fiber in just one of the chocolate squares.
That's pretty darn good. I'm also going to try the Cocoa Dreams for you. This one, the almond toasty was dark chocolate. This one's going to be a milk chocolate. Very rich.
I think it's really good. I'm super happy with it.
I think if you're a chocolate lover, you will love these.
Yeah, and especially if you need a little extra fiber. That's a lot of fiber in one little square of chocolate.
And it's like satisfying. That little piece is it's like bigger than like one square of a Hershey's, but just enough.
Right. All right. So on to our topic, Instagram versus reality.
Yeah, there's like a lot of, I think, misconceptions when it comes to seeing or following, people that are in a specific niche like bodybuilding and fitness. And Jenna shared with me this really awesome reel. I forgot the creator who did the Instagram versus reality on the whiteboard with the drawings.
Oh, was that Aaron Clark?
It might have been.
Okay.
It might have been. And
was he really jacked?
Yeah.
Okay, it was Aaron Clark.
And he was saying how, normal people who are just trying to reach their goals and be healthy, they look at these people on Instagram and they they're doing like the same things as people on Instagram are doing, but the people on Instagram might be doing things that they're not telling you, or taking things to help and enhance them, and that might leave the person viewing that feeling like they're doing something wrong, or they should give up, or it's stupid because they want to reach what they see on Instagram, but it's going to be a different kind of pathway than the influencer that does that for a living and you trying to be fit and healthy.
Right. And I think, aside from my own husband, I don't post before and afters of clients on my Instagram. Not that I think that's a bad thing. If I think it can be done well, but it's just like a personal thing. I just don't do that. And I've seen a lot of times where a coach will post a before and after, and the comments that they'll get are, that guy doesn't even look like he works out, or they looked better before, or I don't see a difference. And the reason why people don't see a difference and they can't recognize what somebody who works out looks like is because we think if you work out, you should look like Arnold.
Yes,
I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Like, the standard has been set so high that people don't actually know what a regular fit person looks like.
Yes, and it doesn't mean that they're striated and all of their 8 abs are showing. That doesn't equal I work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot more broad in fitness, and when you go on Instagram and you scroll and all these influencers are six pack ab and bikini competitors and big heavyweight guys that you compare yourself to, and it's just it's helpful to a point.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to compete and you aspire to that, that's one thing. But if you're just, trying to be the best version of yourself, and you really have no basis of, like, not that we should be comparing ourselves to people, but come on, it's kind of impossible to, like, live in the world and not compare yourself to some extent. So if your view of what is fit and healthy is so skewed just from society, it's like, how do you deconstruct that?
Yes,
because I know we've talked about this before, but it's like the dad bod of being like, there are plenty of guys like that I've seen posted, like coaches posting just regular guys, right? Who, as a coach, and maybe as someone that pays attention to social media and Photoshop and video editing and all this stuff, I can tell what a fit person, what somebody that has muscle mass on them looks like, even if they're not shredded, right?
Yes.
But then in the comments, you'll see that's just a dad bod, or like he needs to stop eating donuts, or you know what I mean, or he doesn't look like he works out, like I said before, And
it's annoying that your physique can present to you that idea that you work out, but it also, because of this misconception, it also might not equal that for some people, because they only think that the Arnold or the competitor are the fit and strong people. So it's such an interesting thing.
It is. And especially it's hard when even the people at the top, right? Like your competitors, people that compete in bodybuilding, they tend to only do photo shoots when they're stage lean or close to stage lean. So you're not seeing them in their off season. You're not seeing them when they're 10, 15, 20 pounds heavier, which is real life.
Was it on the podcast that we were talking about?
What was it?
We were talking about, I think we were one of the guests we had on our podcast.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about how
which hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. But it's a lot for our human brains to handle, that you can look like you do on the stage and you can look like you do in the off season, and fortunately, that is
Mhm.
balance, even though it doesn't seem like it, because someone would think balance is looking like your stage self all year
Mm-hmm.
because of the fitness, it like that physique makes people perceive. But in
Mm.
reality, being able to get out of that just stage physique, or the most progress you've ever made, and be able to grow on that and build on that, is the balance.
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel bad for, sometimes, oh, this is something I encounter with clients. I'll have somebody who, let's say it's someone who reaches out to me because they just want to take it to the next level. Like they're already very fit, but they really want to dial it in and look like amazing on the beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's someone who has no idea that they look incredibly fit and, reaches out for help because, you know, they're not comfortable with the way that they look. They don't feel like they look like they work out.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that before too, where I get these check-in pictures and I'm like, wow, this woman is very fit and you can see the muscle that she's worked hard to build, right? She can't see that. She sees fat that she has to lose.
Mm-hmm.
She sees, a tummy bulge that she has, you know what I mean? And I'm like, they don't know, the reality is skewed.
And that's because of how far the standard has been set.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, everybody has to figure out what pathway they want to move forward, and realize that that higher standard set, that doesn't really have to mean anything towards what your progress and what you look like.
Right.
It depends on the you showing up to the gym and you making those accomplishments.
Right. And when it comes to Instagram specifically, I think in any social media, you really need to curate your feed so that
Mm-hmm.
you are seeing things that are positive and uplifting and not causing you to feel crappy about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I open Instagram, I'm inspired
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like ready to go do something,
Mm-hmm.
but I've taken the time to follow the right people and unfollow anybody that doesn't, light, light me up, basically.
Mm-hmm. And even outside of Instagram and social media, things can happen in front of you that you may not realize as well. And so I'll share the story in case anyone's ever been through something similar. But I had a friend who was lifting with their gym, group of friends for years while they were on their football team together. And they're all doing their bench pressing like normal every day, every week. And then all of a sudden, two of the guys out of the five, let's say, they aren't moving up in weight like the other three are. And the other three guys are saying all kinds of words to, whether it's to motivate or to bully, who knows, to, push them to go more weight. But all of a sudden, these guys have been training for the same days, same weeks. They don't eat exactly the same, but they're on the same schedule, same team. They do all these lifts together. And these three guys, all of a sudden, they're up 100 pounds in weight. And this was, 10 years ago, and, before even more information we know about the gym. And so these two kids who weren't moving 100 pounds up in weight over the next month.
You mean in their bench press?
Yeah, in their bench press. They were like feeling like, what the hell am I doing wrong? These three other kids that we lift with every day, they're up 100 pounds. And we're on the same team, same schedule. And we're lifting, we're normal amounts of strength that you gain every week. And so this was, say, like junior year of high school. It took my friend, years after to realize that they were taking performance enhancing drugs in high school and, beyond, but they didn't know. And so when they were lifting with their group of friends, they were feeling so stupid and confused and lost, in the sense of like, I do this same workout with these guys every day, but all of a sudden they're 100 plus pounds up in weight. And so even things in front of you, you can see somebody doing something, and just because they're doing something, it doesn't mean that, you're going to be able to do the same thing, or that they're not being truthful, but there's other things going on even in front of us that can cause misconceptions. And that's why we have to really focus on our own progress, our own accomplishments, and make sure we're showing up for ourselves, because no matter how much people who are doing that are lifting every week, that has no impact on you and your progress. But it definitely, if you don't know these things, they can make a difference.
Yeah. So unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
That's the thing, can really get you down.
And you shouldn't let them compare your own self and judge yourself thinking, well, these guys lift so much more, they're so much better than me. No, they're not. They're doing their own thing. And if you want to lift that much weight, you can get there naturally. And if not, then, you figure it out.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more on the outskirts and misconceptions. So when you listen to coaches and listen to trusted people, they can definitely guide you in the right way and tell you what's real and what's not, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. Just thinking about expectations, it's, since we've already been talking about how our expectations are just completely off because of society and what we see out there. So what can someone expect from their workouts? Like, what is it? You know what I mean?
What can they expect?
Yeah.
I think that they can expect to feel good, better than they did before they worked out or, started working out consistently. I think you can expect a lot of good things and a lot of things from working out, but none of these changes are going to be overnight, except I think the happiness that you feel from showing up for yourself. Yeah, the sense of accomplishment, the sense of doing, getting that done and feeling like you spent some good time working on yourself.
Because go ahead.
I just think a lot of good can come from that.
Definitely. And if you're, looking for the concrete kind of results that can be measured, again, fat loss is slow. It is a slow process. And like you've heard me say about my prep, 1 pound a week is phenomenal. That's what we want, right? But people have this expectation of well, I heard you can safely lose 2 pounds a week. I'm like, even if you're perfect, that may not happen.
And it's, it's not that it's wrong. I'm sure some people have lost 2 pounds 1 week and then, not, it all fluctuates, but you can't use just that as, well, if I don't lose 2 pounds this week, I'm going to give up.
Right. What I'm often having to explain to clients is that even when you're 100% following your program, right, you may lose a half a pound and they think it's nothing, but it's not nothing. That is a really good result.
And that again is because of expectations. People want to lose 10 pounds in a month or something. And it's I understand that, of course, but when they see that, when that's in their head, the 10 pounds, I want to lose that in, 30 days, whatever. When you lose the half pound a week, that seems like nothing compared to the 10 pounds, the 5 pounds. But the problem is you're making real change.
And the purpose of going slowly is to retain the muscle mass that you have so that you're actually losing fat and not just weight, scale weight. And if you have a lot of weight to lose, when someone has well over 100 pounds, 150 pounds to lose, they can lose faster than someone who only has 20 pounds to lose.
Yeah.
So, but that's something that you have to accept as well. And even that person that has 150 pounds to lose, they might lose, 4 pounds in 1 week, but then they may not lose anything for 2 weeks. And then they might lose 2 pounds, but then they might lose 5 pounds. It's always going to change. And you just shouldn't get so hung up on that scale number. Just that's why I like to weigh yourself every day and track the average. You want that average to trend down. And then when it comes to muscle gain, putting on muscle is even slower than losing fat. People have this. I've had so many people say oh, I gained, all these pounds of muscle over the past few months
Mhm.
because they did an in-body scan and it told them, and the person was so excited to say like, oh look, you put on all this muscle, look at you. That's not possible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not possible. Muscle is very, very slow to build. It
And
takes a lot of work.
It's funny. I don't think it's like a double-edged sword, but it's like fat's easier to lose, but it's not easy to do that.
Right.
In equation, it's simple, but to do it and to be consistent with it, that's a whole different story. And then building muscle is slow. It's so slow, but the more muscle that you have, the stronger you're going to be, and it should lower also the body percent fat as well.
Yeah.
So the more muscle you have, the lower percent body fat.
Really, instead of like trying to measure your body fat and your muscle mass and stuff, just know that if you're increasing your strength in the gym, if you're going up in your lifts over time, then you can confidently know that you're putting on muscle, especially if you're doing measurements. If you're taking, maybe once a month doing measurements of your body parts, you know what I mean? And those might actually go down even if the scale stays the same. And that's proof right there that you're improving your body composition.
And it's all an equation, because it might not show up on the scale, but it might show up in the inches. And what you see is going to definitely, I feel like, make you happy, as opposed to just a number on the scale. Because
exactly,
what does that mean if you are reaching your goals and you're
right,
you're being happy with yourself?
So let's say you are on Instagram and you see someone's physique that you just think is perfect and you wish you looked like them. Do you care what they weigh?
No.
You just want to look like that,
yes,
right?
Totally.
So why do we care so much about what we weigh?
It's so crazy, because it's like, you see a body, you don't know how exactly, you don't know how much that, you're not like, I need to be 127.5. It's not like that. It's just a matter of,
Data?
improving the physique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, like, as someone who is trying to tell you not to worry about the scale, yet I weigh myself every day. It's, well, one,
for
I'm
a reason,
prep, but two, but even that though, my coach or any bodybuilding coach will tell you, no, you're not getting, at least not for women, we're not getting weighed. There's no weigh in, you know what I mean, before you step on stage. It's a look we're after. And the reason why experienced prep coaches can kind of look at someone and maybe guesstimate what their stage weight is going to be, that's just from experience.
Yeah.
The weight just does not matter.
No, it doesn't at all. It's really cool about that.
Because the look you want, I bet you, weighs more than you think it does.
Oh God, yeah.
The
weight is such, like, you can't base anything on weight. If you told me, if you showed me a picture of someone, then I wouldn't be able to guess their weight.
I'm really bad at guessing weight.
I'm actually better at guessing percent body fat than I am guessing weight, because you can tell.
Right. And you know what? That's actually way more accurate than going to get a scan. So if you are curious about your body weight, all you need to do is Google a visual body weight chart, and it will show you a grid with people in, like, or if you're a woman, you Google the women's one, and you'll see a bunch of women in sports bras, and you can see their midsection, and it will give you percentages, and then you can kind of pick where you're closest to kind of estimate your body fat. And same for men. Looking at yourself next to one of those charts I think is way more accurate than an in-body scan.
Oh God, yeah, definitely. In it just, you fluctuate more than the in-body scan can grasp that information. So
so with that, I guess the point of our message,
lower your expectations. No, I'm kidding.
It's good to have goals and expectations of us reaching that goal.
Yes,
which is great.
And you got to be real. You got to be real with your expectations, kind of like, You're not going to lose 10 pounds in a month.
Right.
Healthily.
Right.
And I don't want you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be healthy, happy, balanced, build muscle, and
fueled.
Yes, and fueled.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go lift.
Time.
And we'll talk to you later.